Welcome to another edition of On the Spot. My name is Ryan Mack. I'm the president of Optimum Capital Management. We have a great session here today. This is the All About Business session. And what we have here today is I'll tell you, something truly special to me. It's just something truly special to the community, because these young men that we have sitting at this table are proving the fact that those in college do know about information. They do have voices about complex issues and principles and things that are impacting all of our communities. And on this table today, we are going to be floored by the knowledge that you're going to see from these young men in here today. We're going to be talking about education. We're going to be talking about financial market regulation. We're going to be talking about real estate markets. We're going to be talking about healthcare reform. We're going to talk about financial predators. And so I would like to introduce here the people that we have on this panel here today. Again, a very special panel of All About Business, the team, the youth group that learns financial literacy. Then they go to the community and they teach financial literacy throughout the rest of the community. And it's just a great day here today. So starting from my left, if you would introduce yourself, please.
How's everyone doing? My name is Marquise Terry. I'm a senior at Monroe College. I'm actually studying accounting now.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Terrell Peebles. I'm a senior at York College, majoring in business administration.
And I'm Dwayne Garth. I'm at York College. My major is in accounting and investing.
Last but not least, I'm Manuel Gonzalez, York College student majoring in business administration, concentration in management.
So there you have it. These are four members of All About Business. Again, the youth group, the financial soldiers on the rise. They're going out, they're taking financial information, financial literacy, and they're taking it to the streets and educating. And this is what this session is all about. We're going to start it off with education. Education is a problem within a lot of our communities. We need educational reform. Marquise Terry, tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are about education and what is in some of the research that you found.
Well, I feel education isn't talked about enough. I don't think it's spoken of as loudly or as frequently as we should be hearing about it. You know, you hear about the different investment markets, you hear about real estate and what's going on with this recession, but what's going on with education? I mean, since the No Child Left Behind Act, I think that's the last thing I really heard about it. I mean, the No Child Left Behind Act, it has done a lot of things as far as putting standardized testing out there, and it really has made it a lot more of the federal government as opposed to the local government's issue. And I mean, since we've had it enacted, you've had the government putting more money in. Since maybe 2001 has been a drastic change as far as federal funding for schools. But is that funding making a change? Now, you do have pros of this act where you have students where maybe the age of 9 years old, where their reading has increased. They've done a lot better over the past 5 years. It's done record numbers as opposed to the past 28. So it's like over the last 5 years, we've done better as opposed to the last 28. So, I mean, that's a good thing. And we are getting more money. But at the same time, what about the children? You still have people talking about, you know, is the test is somewhat biased. You still have individuals who are slipping through the cracks, as you can say, who aren't necessarily getting the education that they need because there's what they call a standard. There's one standard for every individual, but I don't feel that there's one test for every person. You know, maybe I learn differently than Manny does, or the next person learns different from the next one. So what do we do to actually get to each and every individual need? You have people like Bill Gates, who's a private sponsor, who's putting $335 million back into the school systems, and he's putting it into 4 different school systems at 4 corners of America just to see how he can help, how he can get back and reach these, like I said, individual problems. So what do we do? How do we help as individuals to create a better educational system and create a better mindset for the teachers and the individuals who are actually in the system?
And so then we're talking about No Child Left Behind Act. A lot of individuals have said, you know, they left the money behind. So what are your thoughts about this?
Well, I believe it all goes back to what we value as a society. You know, some major sports figures like LeBron James and Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant get paid these $1 million contracts, whereas a teacher might only make 40 grand. I think if we funded our teachers better, they might better control the situation and produce better results. That's my take on the funding.
I sort of want to piggyback on what you're saying. My idea is, okay, the money is an issue. The school system is definitely underfunded, in particular in low-income areas, disenfranchised areas. But money is not the solution to the problem. The solution, in my opinion, is that many times in our communities, there's not an advocacy towards excellence. Like, we don't strive towards excellence. So we're sort of striving for just making it. just getting a 70. When in other schools, other people not like us, they're sort of pushing for a little bit better performance out of the students, and we're sort of teaching to the test. Just pass the test and you'll be okay. So I think we have until we strive for excellence as a community by and large, money doesn't change the situation.
That's true, because I also feel that when you look at teaching, I mean, even though it would be a great incentive for teachers to teach better if they were making more money, but the reality is it just might not happen. We might not have the money to actually put there. But what I feel is, as a teacher, what did you get in the game for? Like, why are you a teacher? If you're teaching to make a difference and help a child out and further their education and better their self, I think a good teacher makes a good teacher, not a good paycheck makes a good teacher. So you really got to look at it that way. And it goes back to what Manny said about society and the view of society. People are into materialism and who has the most this and who has the best that. And I think we should stray away from that, especially with an issue as serious as education, because knowledge is power, and we're trying to give these children the power so that they can move forward and better their future and the future of the people coming behind them.
You know, I agree with what you're saying as far as the government should step in reference to helping these students and these children and whatnot. And also, I agree that there needs to be better teachers as well. However, my main thing is that in order for these students to learn, they must learn from home as well. And the main point is the fact that this education should start at home. You know, your kids can begin to learn from 4 or teach them from 4 years old, from preschool to college. The kids need to have more education, a higher education, or a higher requirement for education at home. And on top of that, they need to be fiscally empowered as well, and taught more respect. Because what we're seeing is that a lot of students nowadays, there are a lot of children in these communities, they're not giving respect to the teachers. And going back to schools or whatnot, we have teachers who are exhausted by the fact that these students are the way they are. They have no drive for the education. And what is going on at home? We need to be at home and make sure that our kids are doing their homework, make sure that they're getting their studying in, and put away the Xbox, you know? Cut down the time that they spend on the video game. There's so much other things to do than concentrate on our education, and we need to concentrate on that.
That's true. I mean, the whole idea of making sure that it stays at home and making sure that we do create these values in the home, but the home can do but so much when you have people losing jobs and then mommy has to pick up an extra shift because daddy's no longer working, or daddy has to pick up another job because mommy's no longer working. So we got to take those things in account. We can't just sit here and point fingers and do the blame game, because we can easily say it's the government, we can easily say it's the home, we can easily say it's the environment. But what are we doing as a collective, as a whole, as a community to make things better? I remember me and Manny were talking about this earlier, just talking about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and how what they did seemed impossible, and changing the mindset of an entire group of people does seem impossible, but at the same time it can be done. And it kind of comes to things like this, us individuals sitting here having conversations and actually pushing for this greatness. You can't sit there and put it on the next person when you can do it yourself. I always see that as myself, where I try to say, you know, if no one else is going to do it, I am, because you never know who's going to take that responsibility.
So I sort of just to jump in here, there's definitely a need for us to sort of own our own failures. But when you take a look at the system and the way it's structured, it's not equitable for everyone. The way you're talking about standardized tests as the way we compare all the students, we're sort of comparing apples to oranges. So until you find like one test that sort of can adequately compare all students, because you look at the SAT exam, for example, one of the words that I encountered as a high school senior I'd never heard before an SAT exam was acquiescence. The average student from where I'm from has no idea what acquiescence means, so there's no way for them really to understand the paragraph or the passage that they're required to understand in order to pass this test. And it's sort of directly correlated in college admissions officers' minds as indicative of how they will perform on the next level. So until you sort of revamp that as well, you know, we're still here.